Hey guys, welcome back to another dev diary for Dragonkind Evolved. Since the last video when I showed you guys the Elder Dragon, the pack has been officially released, version 1.0 on Planet Minecraft, Modrinth, and several other sites. In that update, there are some changes that I did not demonstrate in the last dev diary video. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of those, but also I've been working on some new updates for Dragonkind that I'm going to show you in this video that'll be coming in the next update. Specifically, I've got 2 new dragons as well as a new loot item. So we're going to go ahead and start by taking a look at one of the new dragon types. So starting off, we have the Frost Dragon. This is a new dragon that appears at fledgling and powerful difficulty tier, so it's a fairly easy level dragon. As you can see, it converts the ground that it flies over to ice and snow, and if we can get closer, we can actually see that it's powder snow as well. So it's going to be a mixture of some of these, which will make the landscape not much more terribly difficult to navigate, but it's going to be a bit of a different experience compared to something like the Zombies Mud, or even the Tyrant Dragon or Blazing Dragon's Fire and Soul Fire. Additionally, as we can see here, periodically it's going to summon these igloos, which can spawn either around 3 random end crystals, around the exit portal if it isn't already at the exit portal, or around up to 3 random players. So it'll choose every so often if it wants to summon some igloos, and then it'll summon those igloos at one of those chosen locations. They aren't very big, they won't damage the exit portal. But they can spawn around players that are flying with Elytra, which could potentially stop them or even kill them with kinetic energy, depending on how fast they were going. Importantly as well, with these igloos, we'll wait and see, hopefully one of them spawns again shortly here. There we go. So if we go inside one of these and switch to survival mode, we'll see they only last about 15 seconds or so. I'm going to break these real quick. But when they do break, they'll break on their own. And you'll take a little bit of freezing damage. Of course, I took quite a bit there because I'm not wearing any armor. So yeah, you get a little bit penalized for not making an effort to escape. So these should spice up the Frost Dragon fight just a little bit. Obviously, adds a little bit of punishment for trying to camp near the exit portal, as well as potentially they might have a chance to block some of the end crystals from arrows or things like that, similar to how the cages or the more advanced cage abilities that they can respawn with will do, but only temporarily, of course. So, and of course, if they trap you as well, you'll want to get out of there as soon as possible, not just so you can continue the fight, but also so that you don't take that damage. It is just a little bit of damage, especially if you're wearing armor, which if you're fighting the Ender Dragon, especially a respawned Ender Dragon, you probably are. But just another obstacle to face when fighting the Frost Dragons. Now we're going to go ahead and go to the overworld and show off one of the new loot items before we take a look at the second dragon. Okay, here we are on the overworld. We are in a pretty large cave, which hopefully will extend for a fair amount further. Obviously, we're in creative mode. We'll probably switch to spectator. But we're going to take a look at the new loot item that's coming to Dragonkind Evolved, the Dragon Eyes. So this is an item, a helmet item that you can equip by right-clicking. And when you do, it equips to your helmet slot, and it's going to give you night vision for one. I'm going to break this torch, in fact. It gives you night vision while you're wearing it, and will also begin highlighting ores in the direction that you are looking, and the shapes will become more clear as you look and move around. So this is basically just an X-ray item. Looks pretty cool on your head, and they will make it easier to find ores in the overworld, as well as in the end. It can help find ancient debris and stuff as well. I'm going to go ahead and take it off here. But as you can see, it took some durability. I probably should have kept the torch. As you can see, it lost some durability. So this will take damage continuously as you are wearing it. If we take a look at the tooltip here, it does have Unbreaking 10. And that is factored into how much damage it takes. So it's going to take a little bit of damage, and I have a 1 out of 11 chance every second to take a little bit of damage. So on average, I think in my testing, or by my calculations rather. It'll probably last about 15 minutes or so, 15 to 30 minutes, I think is where I ended up. I did a test and mined for probably about 20 minutes or so before mine broke, and that's of course wearing it continuously. So if you are being smart about it, putting it on, taking a quick look, realizing, okay, there's some copper right there, and then you take it off to try and go for that copper, then of course it's going to last a lot longer in terms of your actual utility from it. So this is just yet another item that you can get from killing dragons, another good reason to continue to fight dragons, and especially in such a way that doesn't necessarily only serve a purpose fighting the dragon. In fact, this doesn't really serve a lot of purpose fighting the dragon at all. The last thing I have to show you guys today is the last dragon. This is the second dragon that I'm adding to Dragonkind Evolved post-launch. And as the name might imply, the last dragon spawns only and always as the 20th dragon, or the 19th dragon that you respawn. So 20th including the first Ender Dragon. It is intended to be a fairly challenging fight, the most probably hardest dragon that the pack so far includes. The hardest fight that I've made so far. As you can see, it does convert the ground into amethyst and you can't tell with my shaders, but calcite, and one of these should be pearlescent froglight. So very bright and sparkly ground, kind of betraying the significant danger that you are under. As you might have noticed, the dragon is currently and actively shooting amethyst shard projectiles at me. It's going to do that very frequently and targeting up to 5 players each time. And it can do this, fairly repeatedly as well. I don't remember. I think it just did do 2 or 3 all in a row. In one of my tests, it shot a whole volley of 3 amethyst shards, one after the other. They target me. They are targeting creative players, so that I can show you mostly, but I'm probably going to keep it in just like that. But obviously, if you are in survival, that is dealing some serious damage. Well, it's not too terrible amount right off the bat, and obviously you can't dodge them. But if you're taking multiple, one after the other, then it's going to stack up. And with the frequency that they're getting shot at, they can cause some significant distress. This is, of course, compounded by the fact by the Last Dragon's second ability. This is an ability borrowed from all dragon types. The Last Dragon will very frequently force ground all players that are flying. If there are any players flying with Elytra, all players will get force grounded that are in the end. This is something that was added before the launch, or after my Dev Diary video, that is in the last, or in the public version of Dragonkind Evolved, as an ability that all Ender Dragons have, but only after there's no more End Crystals, and only sort of periodically. Whereas the Last Dragon has it at all times and is very, very common. It's basically very unlikely that you're going to fly very far at all during the Last Dragon fight. It's going to prioritize doing that rather than shooting amber shards, in fact. So for the Last Dragon fight, unlike all the dragons before, you are pretty much going to be and would be best served to be on the ground the entire time, which of course makes you more susceptible to the laser crystals going to be able to shoot you, especially if you've been force grounded, because then you can't jump, at least for 20 seconds. And the amber shards are going to be harder to dodge. You're going to have to actually be moving pretty frequently, commonly, and quickly, and probably keeping a good distance from the dragon. You can see, obviously I'm in creative mode right now, but with how close it is right now, if I were just walking at this pace, all of those amber shards would be dealing damage to me. That one probably would have hit me as well. I can even switch to survival. I'm going to put some armor on, and we can take a look at just how significant that is. I'm going to put all this in my hotbar. Get out of the way of that one. And let's see. Okay, I was able to dodge that one. Of course, we're going to start taking the effects from the witch crystals. Laser crystals are going to start hitting me as well. The amber shards. Oh, that was a fireball. So let's just take a look at the breath cloud for the Last Dragon as well. I guess I did forget to talk about the breath cloud for the Frost Dragon as well. but at least for the last dragon, you can see the breath clouds will expand quite a lot farther. They still last the same amount of time, so it's pretty similar to the zombie dragon in that sense. And the effect that it gives is weakness 5, so very strong weakness effect, and a brief levitation effect, which of course is going to make it a little bit harder to dodge those amber shards as they're coming in at you. Oh, yep, there we go, just like that. But let's go ahead. I'm going to switch back to survival, and we can see if we can get a good example. That was just another fireball. A good example of how much of a threat these amber shards can be as you're fighting the last dragon. I was able to dodge that one, thankfully. They can go through bedrock, so you can't hide behind the bedrock exit portal, and they can also go through obsidian too. So there's no real way to hide or block these amber shards, and you just have to be prepared for them pretty much the entire time, as you're also dodging laser crystals just like that. Or not like that, rather, and dealing with the negative effects of the witch crystals up there. So this should be a very challenging fight. I think a great kind of end cap for the Immortal Dragon difficulty. Other than all those abilities, the last dragon does have the Immortal Dragon stats, so similar to Dragon White or the Elder Dragon, as you are fighting those at the Immortal level. And after that, all dragons will be immortal, and all dragon types will be allowed to spawn, except for the last dragon. They will only spawn as the 20th dragon in a world. With that is all the changes that we have going into version 1.1, Dragonkind Evolved. I do expect to have more loot and more dragons to add over time, but I'm excited to announce that version 1.1 of Dragonkind Evolved, including everything that we've talked about here today, is, as of now, available and on Planet Minecraft and Modrinth and many other locations for you to download. So please enjoy, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.